because there you're safe. I mean, like when you are, let's say if you are a patient of Vicodin or something like that, you wouldn't normally go out and take a Vicodin pill and start driving. The same way with any of our cannabis products. I wouldn't go out, start driving after I had some brownies or even our medicated drink or anything like that.
Jason, I got to ask, the classic brownies, the hash brownies, do you have them?
We do have them available in many different doses. Yes, we do. But those are more for the chronically ill, more for the patients that really need it to get to sleep and the chronic ill.
Gotcha.
It is so nice to hear from you, Jason, because I think a lot of people do not understand. I mean, obviously you yourself have been a beneficiary of this, but thank you very much for sharing your perspective. We appreciate it.
Jason McLeod from the Pharmacy Customer. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and please,
appreciate it.
Please spread the love. Thanks.
All this week at 12 noon Eastern, we take a look at the world of medical marijuana. Tomorrow, our special High Noon series takes you inside a marijuana seed farm.
The big business of growing weed for medical use specifically. We talk to a big investor and seed grower. Noon Eastern tomorrow only on Fox Business, always matching.
My name is Richard Lee, president of Oaksterdam University. Oaksterdam University is a trade school for the cannabis industry. Was founded in November 2007, and the idea is that there are a lot of people who want to get involved in the politics of cannabis and help with ending cannabis prohibition, but they don't know how, or they want to get in the business. Here in California, you know, we have a major medical marijuana industry, and we're working on legalizing for everybody, so we need people who can operate in the industry in a safe and responsible manner, and so that's what we're here to help train them to do that. We have all kinds of students as far as age and demographics and types, you know. I'd say the majority, though, are older, people looking for a second career, things like that. It's not like, you know, college kids primarily. And then in general, I'd say they break down into 3 different categories. There's people who are looking to work in the industry, get a job at a dispensary. Our first valedictorian got a job right away at Berkeley Patients Group at a nearby dispensary. Or to start their own business. We've had students go on to start dispensaries. The second group would be people who just want to grow for themselves personally. So they would need to learn about the politics and legal issues of doing that, and as well as the actual how-tos of horticulture. And the third type are people who are just interested in the politics, who want to get involved in changing the law and want to learn more all about what's going on with cannabis and repealing cannabis prohibition. Measure F is the first cannabis business tax. It's the first time that a special category has been created just for cannabis businesses. Before, the dispensaries of Oakland were under the regular retail rate of 0.12%. This sets up this new cannabis category and increases it, or sets the rate at 1.8%, or almost 2%, or 15 times the old amount. So it's a big increase. Our dispensary nearby will go from paying about $3,000 a year to about $45,000 a year in those gross receipts, business license tax. We already pay $30,000 a year, though, in permit fee, as well as $300,000 a year in sales tax, and about $500,000 in payroll and income tax. And the other historic thing is that there are other cities already looking to copy it. I was just reading online about Sacramento looking to copy it, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Berkeley. I'm sure a lot of cities will be doing this with the economic hard times. We're in favor of paying taxes. We believe that, responsible part of the community, that we should pay taxes, pay our fair share for police and roads and everything else we use. So we're happy to pay taxes. It's a lot better to pay taxes than it is to be arrested and thrown in jail. Or another way we have putting it is a lot cheaper to pay taxes than it is to pay lawyers.
Our next guest actually is someone Alan Young knows quite well. He's been a longtime advocate for legalizing marijuana in this country, and most recently he has agreed to surrender himself to American authorities for distributing marijuana seeds in the United States. And you may have heard Mark Emery referred to as the Prince of Pot, and he joins us now in Vancouver. Do you like that moniker, Prince of Pot, Mark?
Yes, I do. CNN gave that to me when they did a worldwide special on me in 1997. And I'm flattered because although a prince is sort of a monarch, I like to think that if people use that, it shows that they have respect for my statesmanship and my ability to bring this issue to the forefront of the people around the world who smoke cannabis and use cannabis, like to see me active, and they like that title.
So why are you surrendering yourself?
Well, ultimately, it's kind of a bit of, I don't want to use the term blackmail, not that the U.S. Justice Department would do that sort of thing, but in order to get my co-accused, Michelle Rainey, who has Crohn's disease, a very painful disease that she takes medical marijuana for, she wouldn't be allowed to take medical marijuana in a U.S. jail, and she'd likely have a very, very miserable time of it. And that's a compelling reason to strike a deal with the U.S. if I can, to get, and it's contingent on that Greg Williams and Michelle Rainey, my co-accused, do not do any jail time. I said I would be willing to be charged in Canada and face jail time both in the United States and Canada to a very onerous 5 years. You wouldn't get 5 years in actual custody in Canada if you brought a boatload of hashish in. It's just not happened for 20 some odd years that someone would actually spend 5 years in custody. It's a 10-year sentence. I'd have to spend 5 years in custody before even getting day parole, so it's extremely severe. And I think that's why the Canadian government's agreed to negotiate now when they wouldn't charge me before. They want some severe penalty both in Canada and the United States to send a message to cannabis activists.
When do you start serving time?
Could be as soon as 30 to 60 days from now.
And when will you know?
Well, I'll know as soon as negotiations are complete. They're in the midst of it now with the Canadian Prosecutorial Service and U.S. Justice Department and my lawyers.
You have to have a little trepidation about going to prison?
No, I'll tell you why. Because for 17 years I've been leading this revolution to legalize marijuana. There are no victims here. No one's complaining after a decade of selling these seeds. We gave away over $4 million to activist groups trying to bring peaceful democratic change about. So I'm very proud of my legacy. I'm not repentant in any way. I'm not contrite. I'd do more if I could. And I'm really looking forward to doing more when I get out after 5 years.
Well, if you're not contrite, do you believe that you've been prosecuted for selling seeds, or are you being prosecuted because you've made this a political issue?
Oh, well, there's hundreds of seed vendors in Canada, many of whom have been selling to the Americans for years and years. And none of them give their money away to any kind of political activities. All my money went